All right. I think we got me, kind of. But I'm small. Uh, yeah, let's see. There we go. Okay, that source is gone. Let's make me a little bigger, yeah? Maybe? Well, I don't know. I gotta figure out how I want to do this. I'll start like this and I'll make it small again. Sound good? You good with that? Oh, Rosalby, what's up, dude? Um, I'm doing pretty good. I've had kind of a rough week. I got my second COVID vaccine on Saturday, and that was chill for like a couple days, and then it got real bad all of a sudden. So I spent the last 2 days mostly in bed. And then I also started. I also started doing a pretty big thing for my health, which is a 30 day regimen of 30 days of herbal antibiotics and a all liquid diet to clear out my gut and help restore natural natural gut microbiome function. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my monitors back here. Some of my pills uh, fell under the monitor just now, so I just got all my afternoon herbs ready to go. I got to take these things 3 times a day. Yeah, I've been man. I spent all of I think Wednesday, uh, just like pooping like every half hour. It was pretty rough, but good. I felt super clean afterwards, and actually today I've got a ton of energy, which feels really good. I haven't had a lot of energy in a long time, so let's see. All right, so here's what I'm doing. I got two of these guys. This is turmeric and ginger. So this is gonna taste real bad. Going down the hatch. Oh, there's one. And I got two of these guys. This is a berberine complex. Berberine's another type of herb used in digestive health, among other things. Uh-huh. And then we got two of these little dudes. These guys are nice because they're nice and tiny. This is a turmeric, yeah, turmeric. Uh, it's not gonna give me cancer, I promise. Uh, those ones that I just took are like a an extract of garlic called allicin, not Allison, allicin with a C. Um, really strong antimicrobial. Here, this is the worst one. This is just the gross. It smells so bad, so herby and strong. This is called neem, Neem, neem. It's nasty. Ooh, and I don't know. That's I see that one recommended a lot in antimicrobial regimens. I know it's often used for good. Heart health. That word brings me so much joy. Clobdipin. For anybody else that watches this later and is not on Twitch and can't see the Twitch chat, Rosalby over here bringing some nostalgia to my day. Those were some of my favorite times ever playing Perfect Dark with you and just like making ridiculous names for ourselves. I got two more left here. One of them is this is oil of oregano. It's another strong antimicrobial, and this is enteric coated peppermint, which is another type of antimicrobial. So essentially, what I'm trying to do with all these is cover a wide range of resistances to any antimicrobial substance, so that I can really clean myself out. And then my liquid diet. I've used this stuff often. Not sponsored. This is just me showing it to you. Something called Soylent. It's got a pretty 400 calories, pretty extensive list of nutrients here on the back. Got a lot of micronutrients. This stuff isn't bad. It's not bad. It's I tire of it because I've had to drink it so much, but it does the job. Yeah, we did have it pretty good, huh? Those were the good days. So I guess I'm gonna get to it. I just have figured out how to stream audio from my DAW into Streamlabs, which is like a huge process for some reason. You can't just do desktop audio out to Streamlabs, or you can, but like you can't just do your DAW doesn't count as desktop audio for whatever reason. So I'm gonna shrink myself here, get myself out of the way, and then I'm gonna give you guys a look at. Nope, not that one. That's image and image and image. I want to change that to. I'm going to change that to this guy. There we go. Boom! Mada. Oh, except that's way huge. Way huge. Yar. Oh, feel free to share how. All right. I will. Give me a second here. I'll actually go walk you through the whole process that I just did while it's still fresh in my mind. It ended up being pretty easy. I don't know if this is going to be something that I can do on Pro Tools, because Pro Tools does not use what is called VST type plugins. Pro Tools uses a file format for its plugins called AAX, which is proprietary. VST is great because it's open source. I love VST plugins. You can use it on multiple different DAWs. So you just have to like download the thing once, and if you use, like, I'm using Reaper today. If you use Ableton or Cubase or any of those other ones that use VST plugins, I think you're doing it right. But so Rosalby, I think you're using Studio One, which I don't remember if that supports VST plugins or not, but there is a VST plugin for this DAW that I'm using called Reaper. And if you go to, I'll put this, let's see, can I put this in the chat? Yeah, I'll put it in the Twitch chat. Reaper.fm/reaplugs, REA plugs. Oh yeah, Logic now. Okay, so you're on the oh, what are those plugin types? I haven't used Logic in so long, I've forgotten what plugins they use. It's not AAX, and it's not VST either. I don't remember if Logic has ever added VST plugin functionality. The importance of VST also is that Streamlabs, which is Streamlabs OBS, is what I'm using to stream, can use VST plugins. So you have to put it in your DAW, and then you have to put it in your input on OBS. So I'll just go quickly through with you how this works. I downloaded the 64-bit version of this plugin for my Windows machine, and just set it up. It was a real quick, easy setup. Once that was set up, I got into my DAW. I'm going to pull my mix window up here so you can see this. And I'm going to move myself actually over here. There we go. That looks a little better. So you can see this. So in my master track, I've put this plugin, this Restream plugin. And it's a pretty simple plugin. It does two things. It either receives audio or it sends audio. So from your DAW, you want to send audio, and you can change this option to broadcast or local broadcast. And you want to do local broadcast so that you make it available on your PC. That's pretty simple. So now anything that you play in your DAW will pass through this plugin and be sent out to parts unknown as of yet. So, okay, that's that part done. The next thing that we want to do is, let's see, I'm going to bring up OBS here. So we're going to be seeing picture in picture in picture. And you need to make a new audio input capture in OBS. And I've done that and renamed it DAW. And you want to find an audio input that you're not using. You need to find one that's free. So I'm using my Focusrite for my mic and for my connectivity to my DAW and interfacing like that. So I don't want to use that one. This Oculus virtual audio device is crappy and I don't think does stereo, so I don't use that. Same thing for this Logitech. And then this Elgato sound capture I'm actually using for gaming. So I don't want to use that one either because I want to leave that free for when I do gaming. So I had to make this stereo mix. This is the one that's built into my PC's motherboard. I had to make this available because it was disabled. Because I disabled it because I didn't want to use it. So now it's enabled again, and I'm going to use this for my my connectivity to my DAW. And this isn't naturally called DAW. I had to rename it so that I knew what it was. But anyway, so once you got that in your sources list, right-click it, and you want to come up to filters. I didn't know this even existed until today, so this was pretty cool. And you can add a bunch of different filters, and this is really cool for, like, you can add compressors and limiters, expanders, noise gates, which is really great for microphones. You can also add VST 2.x plugins. So there's 3 versions of VST 1, 2, and 3. This one uses VST 2. So if in your install process you have the option to either to or not install VST 2, definitely install VST 2. And so I've already done that here. And then once you get your VST 2 plugin filter up there, you come in here to the drop-down menu, and you want to find your Restream standalone.dll. And for me, that was kind of a ways down. Restream standalone.dll. And so that connects. Let's see, I gotta pull this up here. That gives you another version of. Oh, it's clipped off. Kind of clipped it off, but this is the same one that you saw in Reaper. And instead of send, you want to receive on this one. Makes sense, right? You send from your DAW, you receive in OBS. And now I'm going to get OBS back out of the way, and I'm going to get my mix window out of the way. Now, when I play you some audio from my DAW, you should be able to hear it. I'm seeing that meter on my output. Let me know if you can hear that real quick, if you would. Should be some good vibing music. I'm going to turn that down a little bit because that's pretty loud, actually. Bring that down to maybe minus 15. Windows sucks. Gatorade is better, says Rosalby. Yeah, I would tend to agree. Oh, good, you can hear it. Great, so it works. Before that would not have been possible. So now I can talk to you on my microphone. I can stream from my DAW. I can get you desktop audio. It's a pretty sweet setup. So yeah. Now I'm gonna start mixing this song. Let me give you a little background on this. This is something that I have hesitated to do because of this whole issue with copyrighted material and things, people getting banned, streams getting taken down for using copyrighted material. It's really kind of a pain to try and stream and stream my work as an audio engineer, and you're gonna deadlift while I mix. Right on. Don't poop your pants. So this song that I'm going to mix is one that was made available to me as a through a contest from Lewitt Microphones. Very kind of them to be doing these contests. I really love taking part in these. If nothing else, they're a lot of fun, and they're a good way to practice my skills as a mixer. And I'm kind of taking the fact that they made it available to me as an invitation to use it on my stream. So here we go. What they've given me is a series of individual instrument tracks. So like you can hear, this first one is just the bass guitar. We've got various drum tracks. This is a drum room mic, which is, you set up your drum kit and all your close mics on the drums, and then you take a microphone across the room and get the sound of the drums and how they sound in the room. And we've got, all of the close mics on the drums, guitars, there's some keyboards, a mallet instrument, which I don't actually remember what this is. Let's solo that. Oh, this is mallets on cymbals to give us a nice crescendo. And we got that 3 times in the song. That's good to know. What else we got? We got SPDS. I think this is, I've listened to this a little bit. This is an electronic drum kit, I think. Yeah. Just add some flavor to the drums. And then we've got the vocals and something called Worst. Worst is actually a part of the drums. It's a specific microphone placement technique where you kind of capture the whole drum kit by putting one mic in the very center of it. And it's been used in a lot of different ways from everything that I've read. I haven't done enough studio recording with drum sets to employ this technique, but I know it can be really useful in mixing. So I'm not quite sure yet how I want to use it. I think we'll find out more about that as I go on. So the very first thing that I want to do here is order my tracks. And what I like to do is order... you can't see this. I have to remember that you guys are just looking at the one display. I like to do that here in my mix window. It's a little easier to move things around here. And I like to start with the drums first. And my traditional way of ordering my tracks is to start with kick. Excuse me. Bratwurst. Yes, you are correct, Rosalby. It is the Bratwurst microphone. Let's see, kick first, and then snare, and in this case we've got a snare top mic and a snare bottom mic. And then I will do toms. So we've got a rack tom and a floor tom, and then usually hi-hat. I'll do any other toms in there with the toms if there's other toms, but here there's only 2. And then ride cymbal, and then overheads. Any room mics that they have, and I'm going to put Worst all the way at the end here because I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it yet. So next I'll put the bass, which is already where it needs to be, and then usually any guitars, keyboards, and then I usually leave my vocals last. It kind of depends on the track and how many vocal tracks there are and how I want it to sit in the mix. But in this case, since we've only got the 2 other tracks, the mallets and the SPDS, I'm going to leave my vocals last. And since I know these 2 are actually drum tracks, even though they're not labeled as the same color, I'm going to move these over into the drum section. Okay, so I've got my tracks ordered how I want. Another thing that I want to do while I'm in this stage is create mix groups, which means I'm going to group all of the drums together. I'm going to group the guitars together, the keys, so that when I'm actually mixing all of these elements together, kind of after I've fine-tuned them to the way that I want them to sound, I can use one fader and it turns the entire group up. So I think I need to do that. Oh, I don't remember how to do that in Reaper. This is why I need to practice. Okay, but there's group. It's just, okay, G. I thought it was going to be G. G makes things nice and simple. Group items. Group. Oh no, that's item. I don't want items. I want track groups. So not quite what I thought. Let's go look this up really quick. Grouping tracks in Reaper. To set up, a track folder. That's right. Reaper uses folders. Okay, so this is fun, and actually makes things quite a bit easier. So I can make a new track folder. Shoot, I thought I knew how to do this, and I don't. Let's go back. I also changed my Reaper visual interface to a custom one because I really like the way that this one looks. So things have moved around a bit, and I haven't quite gotten used to where everything is in this new layout. But I like the way that it looks a whole lot better. Let's see. Set up a track folder, create a new track, and position it immediately above the tracks. Okay, shift-click to select all those tracks and drag them into the track. All right, way more intuitive, actually, than I was thinking. So make a new track. I'm going to put this one up above everything else. I'm going to select all of my drum tracks and then drag all of these guys up into here, and you'll see this little blue line. I can drag it above, and you see the blue line up there, which means I'm going to drag these tracks above. You can see here, I drag it below, and then if I move up just a little bit, you'll see the line indents just a little bit, indicating that I'm moving these tracks into this track as a folder. I thought that was what was going to happen. There we go. And is this, let's see, track is last in folder. Okay, so this used to be like a little folder icon, these buttons, but these are now what I can use for folders. Let's see, Rosalby's talking to me. What's he say? Took your advice for my videos and put a credit screen and a logo at the end so there's not so much dead space. Oh, yeah, dude. Good move, man. Good move. I'll have to check that out. And did you upload the new one after you were finished? Let's see. Move all of these. There we go. Okay. And I think actually for right now I want to make all of these a little bit smaller so that I'm not going too crazy with my scrolling. All right, and this is nice. This here indicates that it's the last track in my folder. This indicates that it is the folder itself, and I can make all of those a little bit smaller or super small or big. Fantastic. Let's see. The bass, there's just one track. So I don't think I'm going to make a folder for that. I'm just going to leave that as is. Guitar, there's 2 tracks, so I want to put these guys into a folder. Actually, I should rename this as drums. And this is going to be guitar. Now I can select both of those, add those to the guitar, add a new track, label this keys. Released as part of a newsletter. Okay. All right. Well, let me know when it's out. I'd love to take a look at the new track and how you did things. But I'm glad you like it. It's generally kind of good advice. The way you had it kind of reminded me of what I used to do in journalism school when we'd make videos. Is they'd always ask for like a certain amount of black at the head and tail. For it's kind of an outdated method of having a buffer for like live broadcasts. Wasn't totally necessary anymore, but yeah, reminded me of some of the old student projects that I've got laying around somewhere. Mm. Although your production was quite a bit better than the caliber of what I was doing back when I was in school, so kudos to you on that. Okay, we got my keys folder and vocals. There's only one of those, so I'm not going to make a folder for that. Okay. So, next, what I want to do, and I think I've already done this a little bit, so I'm going to have to backtrack on this. When I got these stems, when I downloaded these multi-tracks, I'm going to put that back to the way it was. Let's say this kick came in like this. And you'll notice, as I make this bigger, that there's quite a bit of room in between the top of the kick transients here and the top and bottom of its play area here. And this is actually indicative of the amplitude of the kick transient. So what that tells me is that we've got a lot of headspace in here, which is good for when you're recording, but when I'm mixing this, I want to know that everything is sort of utilizing the digital space as much as it can before I go into mixing. It'll give me a lot better feel for what I'm listening to. I'll know that everything is kind of, I hesitate to say gain staged the same way, but because gain staging is more for what you do in recording, but this just tells me that everything is using the digital space to its maximum potential. It'll make things a little easier down the line. So what I've done here is there's a little knob up here at the top left-hand corner of my clip that allows me to turn the item volume up or down. And if I turn it down, you'll notice that everything disappears. If I turn it up, you'll notice that it gets bigger. And so this actually sits before anything that happens on my channel strip here. So here's my kick channel strip, and I've got effects and sends and panning and record arm and all that, and then my fader for it down here. So this clip volume, this item volume, sits before all of this and then sends through everywhere. So that what the signal that I'm sending now to this channel strip is now greater than what it was before. It's actually 7.5 dB greater than what it was before. And I didn't choose this value at random, but I didn't aim for exactly 7.5 dB. And what I'm trying to do here is bump it up to a level, and I actually just moved it down to 6, and I might keep it at 5.8 because what I'm looking for is when these transients get to either the top or the bottom of my entire digital workspace here. And that's the most that I can turn it up without clipping the audio. But I'm still not really fully utilizing my space. You can see there's still a lot here, which is okay. I want to keep some dynamic range in the song. I don't want to, have a hyper compressed song, but I also don't want, what I'm seeing here is there's only a couple kick drum hits that are pushing the limit here. And I don't want those couple kick drum hits to be these outliers that don't allow me to turn this audio up more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here into my kick drum channel strip, and I'm going to add I'm going to add a compressor, and I'm adding the Wave CLA 76 compressor. It's something that sounds particularly good on drums, and for what I want to do, it's going to allow me a lot of versatility because it's got the right amount of controls. So what I'm trying to do here is, this is not something that you normally do in regular mixing, but I'm trying to clean up the recorded tracks that I got to make them ready for mixing. So I haven't even actually got to the mixing stage yet. What I want to do is I want to catch those transients before they can get as loud as they got, right? So those super loud ones, I want to tame them just a little bit, and I want to leave most of the rest of the audio relatively the same. So to do that, I need to have a compressor that kicks in really quickly, which means it needs to have a fast attack, right? Attack tells you how quickly the compressor kicks on when it senses a signal. And on the CLA 76, you'll notice this is numbered 1 through 7, and so instead of giving you a time in milliseconds, it gives you numbers. So I believe, and I'm going to double check this before I go and say anything, I believe that the lower the number, the slower the time. So if I put it at 1, I'm getting a really slow attack, and if I put it at 7, I'm getting a really fast attack. And looking at the instructions here, it says attack and release settings range from slowest 1 to fastest 7. Yes, so if I want to bump this up to a 7, and I also want it to have a relatively fast release time, right? Like, I don't want it to release just as fast as it kicks on, because I want it to tame those transients in a way that they don't prevent me from turning that clip up, but I still want it to sound natural. So I'm going to try starting with those settings and see what we get. And I'm going to kind of highlight a little section here where there's some of the biggest aggravators and see what that gets me. Solo my kick drum here. I'm going to start with the plugin off so that I can get a good idea of what this kick drum sounds like without any compression added. Here I'm not trying to get any character out of this by adding a compressor. I'm trying to just tame transients. Okay. So now let's turn the compressor on. And I've lost a considerable bit of volume there by doing that, right? Even with my fast release time, I think I want to have an even faster release time so that it's just that initial, couple milliseconds in there that's reduced. I'm going to give that even more of a bump. That's looking like it's bumping pretty good. But you'll also notice that I'm taking off a significant amount of dB here. It's being reduced by anywhere from 7 to 10 dB. That's quite a bit. So I'm going to back off my input a little bit so that we're not hitting the compressor as hard. Okay. And it looks like, let's see, we're in between about -8 and -7 dB on the meter. I'm going to take that off and see where we end up without it. Without the plugin, I'm maxing out at -0.2, so that's about 8 dB of volume that I'm losing with this compressor, just having it on. And I don't want to lose all that dB, so I'm going to give myself a little bit of makeup gain here. Let's try -12. It's giving me some volume back, so I want to make up for my volume lost without clipping still. And I am clipping just a little bit now at +0.2, so that's not too bad. I'm going to back this off to -12.5. Clear my meter. Let's see how we do there. Cool. So we're still at -0.2, and what I'm seeing now is that the softer hits are at about -1.5, -1.3, and that loud one is really what brings the volume up. So I'm going to try hitting the compressor just a little bit harder. Maybe give myself around minus 6 dB of gain reduction. And that's still, I've still got like a nice punchy sounding kick drum with all of that, right? I'm going to take it off here. All right, that's nice and punchy. No compressor. Just a little bit of bleed going on from the rest of the drum set, but that's, you know, that's what happens when you record drums. Okay, let's kick the compressor back on. Kick is nice and punchy still. It hasn't introduced too much more volume from the bleed in the track. And let me just clear my meter here. The most important thing is that it's not clipping. And I actually just saw it hit plus 0.0, which is technically clipping, but not really. So I'm going to back it off another half dB here to minus 13. Okay, I like that. Okay, so after all of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this track and I'm going to do something called render. Specific operation is render tracks to mono stem tracks and mute originals. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is going to print this audio through that compressor that I just put on there, and the waveform now is going to reflect that compression. So let's see what that looks like. It's gotta take a little bit of processing time. You'll see this is actually what the audio looks like now. Or not the audio, but the meter rather. This is what the meter is actually picking up after the compression. So, okay, here's our track that's muted now. You can see our new track is just above here. What I want to do is do some track management and hide that unprocessed track. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Part of what happens with these herbal antibiotics that I'm taking is they make me super duper burpy. And my burps smell like anything from garlic to peppermint, which is not bad, but like I'm still super duper burpy. Okay, so we can see a noticeable change here. See how much more in line with these with each other these are. And this is, I feel like this is really okay for a kick drum because honestly, the dynamics of the kick drum are not going to add that much to the emotion of the song, right? Like I don't want to squash them down all the way to the level of like any, you know, ghost notes that are happening with the kick, you know, soft notes, but I do want to have some control over where my loudest transients are. And now the loudest ones are looking a lot better. So I like how that kick is looking a lot better than before. All right, so that whole process that just happened is what I'm now going to do to pretty much everything else here. I'm going to kind of play this by ear. This is also a new mixing technique that I'm employing right now. New for me. I don't think it's particularly new in the world of audio, but as I think through my process more, think through how I want to do things, this seems like a pretty logical first step to me. So here's another kick drum mic. It looks like what they've done is usually you'll see a kick drum in and a kick drum out. One of them sits outside the drum and the other sits inside, usually like right where the beater hits the head. And they haven't done that here, though. It looks like they've done one condenser mic and one dynamic mic. And as a mixer, that is kind of frustrating. Because, like, that should be, whether to use a dynamic or a condenser mic, should be a decision that the recording engineer makes. And they don't necessarily add that much difference to the sound unless the microphones are vastly different. So I'm going to take a quick listen and just see that in fact these are both things that I want to use. Like this one's nice and punchy, I like it, okay. This one's also nice and punchy, but like their sonic profiles are not that different. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do basically the same process for this one as the other kick track, because it's also, you can see some of the higher transients over here, but I may not end up using both of them. We'll have to see which one sits better in the mix, or if I can combine them to both be good sounding in the mix. Let's see. I need my other track back. Let's put it in the mix window so that I can copy and paste this compressor to the next track. There we go. So this is the same compressor settings that I had on the other one, but I've got it on my next kick drum track now, the dynamic one. And it looks like this is doing about the same thing. Great. Let's render this guy. Stem tracks and mute original. Blur, blur, blur. Creamy chocolate. So good. Okay. Which one? Let's see. Go into my track manager. Remove that guy. So now all I've got is the, is the compressed one, which is not super compressed, but just enough. Just enough. Cool. All right, so that's the kick drum. Now I'm going to do the snare drum, which is going to be a little bit different because there's a lot more bleed in the snare mic. So I just have to treat it a little bit differently because I don't want too much of that bleed, as you can hear. And also these ghost notes, I want to preserve those. So really, like, the loudest hit is right here at the beginning. We've got another fairly loud one here in the middle. So I've got, you know, I think I want them to average out right around in here where I'm moving my mouse. So let's throw on, I'm going to use the same compressor, the CLA 76. Turn it off so I can listen for a little bit and get, let's see, Razzlebee's got a question. Why wouldn't you keep the gain higher on the compressor and add a limiter for the outlier hits? Keep the gain higher on the compressor. I'm not quite sure what you're asking me. What I think you mean, well, here's the deal. I'm actually using this compressor as more of a limiter. I'm using this compressor in particular because I like the way that it sounds on drums. The limiter plugins that I have are really more for mastering, or for master channels, just to prevent any clipping on the master track. And they don't, you know, they've got a really transparent sound. They don't really add anything nice to the sound itself. So I'm using this compressor in particular because I like the way that it sounds on drums. I like the character that it adds. Even just if even if you're not hitting the compressor, it still adds a nice character to a drum track. And then I'm using it as a limiter because I'm not using it to bring up any levels. I'm not using it to add gain to the things that are quiet. I'm just using it to tame those big peaks so that I can maximize my my utilization of my digital space, right, between minus infinity and 0 dB. Let's see. On the original track, you had a few bass kicks that were right at the edge. You mixed the compressor level to have the outlier kicks right at the edge. But if you used a limiter, you could add more volume to the overall track. That sounds incorrect to me. Yeah, I didn't use a limiter because I mean, I am in practice. I'm using this compressor as a limiter. But I'm not using something that's called a limiter because the limiters that I have as plugins are not great sounding on drums, if that makes sense. Because what I don't want is to have these raw tracks sound squashed before I even get them into the mixing process. Because I'm going to add more compression later, but that's going to be really for to add some musicality and some character to these tracks. So for right now, I'm just taming some levels, and I believe I've already bumped the rest of these guys up to about where I want them. All right. It's so hard to have technical conversations in text. I mean, the other thing that I have to keep in mind though is that, you know, regardless of what I'm doing in here, I need to have this not clip at the end of the day. So I just have to be wary of that. So let's see, I've added 3 and about a half dB of gain here. I've got my compressor here. That kick this on. I want to give it a super fast attack time and like a pretty fast release so that I just catch the front of those transients. So here I've actually gained some volume with these output settings, but I am still hitting the compressor pretty hard. And it looks like on average it's about -6. Some of these heavier ones, you know, that looks pretty good actually. That's about where I want to be. -6 dB of gain reduction. And then I'm going to zero out my meter here and see where I'm hitting now. Averaging about -6, so I can maybe give it another 4 dB of gain here. So I was at -18, I'm going to go up to -14. Now let's see how this loudest hit comes out now. That came out at +0.3, so I'm going to kick this back down to -14.5. My meter, and come back here and see where we're at. -0.3, great. Let's see what happens if I hit the compressor a little harder. Moving into this section here where there's more going on. That's a little too much. I'm going to back it off. And then that's definitely added some volume to the track, so I want to back off my output so that I'm not clipping on my meter anymore. Let's back that back off to -18. Let's go back to this loudest hit here and see where we're at. It's at -4. And so now what I'm seeing is the buildup of all this stuff in here is actually getting louder than the loud single transients. So that's not bad for a snare drum. Let's see what happens if I kick the ratio up to 8. No, I think I want this to be a soft knee. Okay. So that's one. I'm going to just preemptively copy that compressor setting over to the next snare, but I'll have to tweak that a little bit because unlike the kick, this one actually is a microphone on a different head of the drum. So let's render this. Looking good, looking good, looking good, looking good. Cool. Okay, and I'm going to Control-Shift-M into my track manager, which I'll pull this up on the screen. This is what my track manager looks like whenever I'm going to this. It's just like a spreadsheet of tracks. What did I just do? The snare top. Take that out of there. And boom. Let's take a look at what we got. Yeah, it's looking a lot better. And so now, I can even give this one a bit of a bump. Righteous. I'm going to do that on these two other ones also. Just get as much as I can out of them. Okay. So what this is going to do later down the line when I start putting, EQs and compressors on this stuff for musicality is it's gonna give me the most possible audio that I can get, and that's gonna give me the best possible sound that I can get. Not something I have done often or ever actually really. I just kind of thought about this for a while and thought that this would be a good thing to do. That reminds me, Rosalby, since you're on, I have been thinking about something you said on your podcast a long time ago, but I've been thinking about this like on a weekly basis ever since you said it. And I don't remember who you said it to or with, but you said something like, you can't think yourself into new information. And I have been thinking about this so much because I disagree with that. I hard disagree with that. Because I do that all the time. I feel like that's what an epiphany is you have all of this information scattered all over your brain that isn't relating, and then suddenly it does. And I do that because I think about it a bunch. And I don't know, that's like one of the only ways I know how to do things. I also know how to research and experiment and use the scientific method, but then suddenly I'm hit by these moments, these epiphanies, and all this stuff comes together. Like this, using this technique. I didn't read about this anywhere. But I thought about it a lot, and then as I went out and looked at the conversion from analog to digital audio, having all this headroom for audio was like one of the biggest advantages to having digital audio. And it's really hard to capture that when you're recording because you never want to capture a clipped signal when you're recording. So you have to be cautious when you're recording. But at this stage, I am not live anymore. I can see the whole waveform. So it makes sense to me to just try and push that to the absolute limit and still have it sound musical. Also, if you're into flavored bubble water, and you've never tried Spindrift, again, not, excuse me, not sponsored. This stuff is real good. There's some other bubble waters that are like, they're flavored with whatever and are generally tasty, but this stuff, like, really is so flavorful. So good. I love it. Okay, so moving on. Moving on to the snare bottom now. Let's see what this guy, looks like. And this one is actually looking pretty consistent. I think, let's see. Let's take a listen. And you can immediately hear the difference between these two mics. You can hear the snare rolling off here. Rosalby says Spindrift tastes like they put a lemon in the water and they didn't mix. There's a lemon sitting in a filter, like if you had a beer and there was a filter in it, just inside the filter. Caught. All right, so here's what I'm noticing with this one is pretty consistent dynamically. So I don't want to do too much to this one, and actually I want to listen to it without this plug-in. I forgot this was turned on already. Yeah, so what I'm hearing is, the transients are pretty big. The snare sound of the actual snares isn't too prominent here, and I want that out of this drum. Out of this particular drum track, I really want that. So it sounded to me like when I had the plugin enabled, that snare sound was more active. It sounds way more snary to me like that, and let's see if I can get even more of that out of here. I'm gonna hit that compressor just a little bit more. Now that's nice and snary. Even though I'm getting, like minus 10 to 12 dB off of those transients, that's okay because off of the medium kind of hits, it's about minus 6, which is really where I want. Nice poppy, nice snap and pop to that snare. Also, sorry, what I've just realized is that I feel like my webcam is super zoomed in. So I am going to, where is it? Where's my thing? I'm gonna, derping around in streaming. Heck. I want my window for settings. Where did that go? I can see that it's open. Shoot! Lost it. I wanted to zoom out on my webcam a little bit. Whatever, I'm not going to spend more time on that. All right. In regards to your precious statement. The information that's floating around in my head. That's a good question, because a lot of the times it doesn't feel like it's, I mean, as an adult anyway, it doesn't feel like it's direct anymore, and like I can't point out a direct source of information. But I guess this also is like, how do you define what's new? Oh, previous. Okay. I thought you were making a crack at, I don't know, millennial something. Precious snowflake. Um, I guess it really depends on how you define new information, and what new constitutes. I'll give you another example. Of something that's happened to me. I've been, I think about my digestive tract all the time because it's a source of great pain and discomfort for me on a regular basis. And in trying to figure out things that I can do to alleviate that pain and discomfort, I just pour over the knowledge that I already have about the digestive system in general, right? So that's anything from anatomy to how it works, to different things about biology. And I was in the car coming back from vacation last week and was thinking about this and just had this idea that, like, biological systems have evolved mechanisms by which to recover or counteract from foreign invaders, right? Like, that's your whole immune system. And so I figured, the digestive tract has got to have some way to replenish your gut bacteria after antibiotics, right? After those bacteria die off. It makes sense that the body would have something like that as an evolved mechanism. And I knew that it wasn't like the liver or the kidneys or anything like that, but I figured there was something in the human body that perform that function. And I kind of thought about these what else do I know about the body, and the appendix came to mind. And what I knew about the appendix was that we don't really know what it does, and a lot of people have them removed because doctors don't think that it serves a purpose, and that's even why it's called the appendix, as if something just added on after the fact. But I thought, what if the appendix is actually where your body stores its beneficial gut bacteria? And so I did a quick Google search first to see where the appendix was, and it turns out the appendix sits right at the very beginning of the colon, right after something called the ileocecal valve, which is the valve between your small and large intestine. So you pass through your small intestine, you go through this valve into the colon, the large intestine, and right there at the very beginning, as an offshoot of your large intestine, is the appendix. And it's just like a little tube-shaped sac that sits there. And then I did a little bit more Googling, and it turns out there's been research done as late as 2007 that hints at just exactly that the appendix is a storehouse for beneficial bacteria. And I'd never read this research before. I just, was thinking about it a lot. I was thinking about gut bacteria and healing and things that I can do for myself to help heal, and this kind of popped into my head. So where did that come from? I don't know. It came from a question. It came from what if? It came from a desire to combine things that I already have in new ways. Does that constitute new information? I don't know. It certainly constituted helpful information for me once I confirmed it. But I didn't go out and research this to stumble across the idea. Does that answer your question? And I'd also like to know your thoughts on that, because that's something that's really interesting to me. So anyway, back to the mixing. I want to print this snare track as it is, or render it rather. We'll see how close we get. Minus 3.1, minus 3, 2.7. Looks like we're right where I want to be. Excellent. Get rid of that snare bottom. Okay, let's see what this guy looks like. Yeah, much better. Now I can bump this clip up, and we're utilizing a lot more of that digital space. Cool. Okay, so next up we got the toms, and the toms are a bit of a special case because the toms generally have a lot of bleed from the other drums, but aren't played very often, right? With the kick and the snare, those are usually pretty consistent throughout the song, interacting with one another, giving you the beat and the backbeat. Toms are for fills. unless there's a specific part of the song that is tom heavy. So let's see what this tom track sounds like. This is the rack tom. It sounds like to me. I'm going to bump this up even more. It sounds like this tom is actually being played pretty frequently. You can hear the tone on the tom. Doon, doon, doon. Okay, so this tom in particular is a pretty consistent part of the song. So what I was gonna say about that is with toms, and I know the floor tom is like this because I've already taken a look at it, and you can see even from the waveform that the floor tom is played a lot less consistently than the rack tom. What I would do here with this floor tom is just cut out all the stuff that's not floor tom, because otherwise, like, you just got this whole area here and this whole area in here where the floor tom's not being played, but you have all of this added energy going to the sounds of like the kick and the snare and whatever other bleed there is, and that's just there's no reason for that. So I was gonna see if the rack tom here was the same, but it is not. It's actually a pretty consistent part of the song, and I've got two hits here that are really standing out. And I want to be able to send that into my compressor and get a decent level out of it. So let's see. I'm going to use that same compressor again, the CLA 76. Great piece of gear, man. Great piece of gear. That 76 is modeled after a hardware unit that good old boy mixing engineers would use back in the day. Not just them, like everybody's freaking used a I think it's LA76 is the hardware model number, but I digress. So I'm barely hitting it there. With these smaller hits, I want to come in a little bit heavier. Let's see what I'm getting on this. Ooh. Oh, you know what? Now that I hear that, that's actually a hit. And the rest of these, I think, are just resonance. That's crazy. I don't think any of that is this tom being used. So this tom is only used twice in this song. Wow. Okay. Well, that makes this a little different. So what I'm going to do instead of starting with the compressor is I'm going to take out everything that is not this tom hit, and I'm going to make sure I get the loudest part of that transient in there. Pretty much all of the decay, because I want all the rest of that sound in there. Split this track there. Clean that up a little bit. Okay, and then I think that's it. It's just those two hits. So what that means, actually, is that I can treat each of these individually, since their purpose is basically the same, right? Like I don't need to maintain a certain dynamic level between these two because they're just part of a fill. So I've got those turned up as much as they can stand, and now I'm going to check out what's going on with this compressor here. And my original assumption was incorrect, so I'm going to take this back down so it's not hitting the compressor so hard. Put that on loop. Getting down to about -7. Let's see what this sounds like without the compressor. Got a nice natural decay to it, nice ring. And I lose a little bit of that nice natural ring with the compressor, so I'm going to back this off just a little bit. That's sounding a little better there. And I've lost a little bit of volume. I'm at about -7 here. Let's see what... it's also at about -7, so I can bump up my makeup gain here to, let's try -12. That sounds like a safe number. Oh, not quite. That was it. Topped out at +0.6. All right, let's try -13. Yeah, that's looking a little better. Great. Okay. So that compressor's dialed in. All right, Razzleby. Good talking to you, man. Always a pleasure having you on the streams. Good luck with whatever you're doing today. I hope you're having a great day. Hope your day continues to be great if it is great, or I hope it gets great if it's not. And yeah, man, talk to you later. Okay, so this process is turning out to be kind of lengthy because I'm explaining everything as I'm doing it. And I'm going to do a little bit less of that and a little bit more doing so that I can get to the next stage, which is actually the mixing stage. I want to hide. So I'm going to talk to myself a little bit, probably, because that's how I work best. And yeah, I'll try and speed this up a little bit so that it makes for better TV. Yeah, that's looking nice. Okay. Floor tom. Used a little bit more often. Okay, let's cut out up to there. Cut out from there. I think that's a little ghost note on this tom. Yeah, I want to keep that in. Let's see where that ends. Still getting a little resonance out to here, so keep all that for now. I can always get rid of anything I don't want with a noise gate later on. Try not to get too caught up in what I'm going to do in the future and just focus on this for now. Okay, that one's nice and easy. Two hits. I don't think the resonance ends before this one starts. I'm going to leave those how they are. Split that one about right there. And then that's the end of the track, so I can just delete all of that. And now I've got just my floor tom hits. Okay, cool. So CLA 76 again. This is still mono. I'm losing a little bit there. I don't want to hit. This compressor too much. It's not bad actually with that's still nice and fat, gives me good tone. I think I like that. Okay. Render that out. Hey, for anybody just joining, if you missed the first part of the stream, I was kind of explaining everything that I was doing in this stage of streaming earlier. So for now, I am focusing on just doing the work so that I can get to the next stage. So I'm not going to be explaining a whole lot of what I'm doing until I get to the next stage. So welcome. Thanks for joining if you're here. And glad you decided to spend your afternoon with me. I hope you're having a great Friday, and I hope you got a good weekend planned. Cool, onto the hi-hat. Oh yeah, that's nice. That looks like what I want it to be doing. Let's see if I can give it any makeup gain. I can give it a couple dB of makeup gain here. Cool. All right, I like that. Let's print it. Oh! Hit plus 0.8 there. All right, so I gave it a little bit too much makeup gain. So let's undo that. Come back in here, pull this back down to minus 17. And render that again. Whew. This broadcast not sponsored by Spindrift, the drink that I am drinking this afternoon. Hey, there we go. That looks good. All right. Hide that guy. Let's take a quick look at how this looks. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. I missed one over here, but that's okay. I'm liking the way that this is looking a lot better. Right, this one's got some big dynamic issues. Definitely on the ride, I want to keep some dynamic range because it's a pretty expressive cymbal. But it looks like I've just got a few big transients here that I want to tame. So, again, with the CLA 76. Try and hit the compressor just a little bit harder. Okay, so that definitely peaked at almost +3, so I'm going to roll my output gain off just a little bit. Let's see how that sounds without. So much happening here that's not ride cymbal. Looks like none of this is ride cymbal. So let's just get all of that junk out of here. Yeah, okay, and there is a ride cymbal hit. And then I think all of this stuff up here also is not ride cymbal. Ooh, but this is. Where does that start? Oh, like all of that is right there. Okay. Yeah, okay, okay. But none of this is? I gotta be careful with this. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so where is that first one? Right there. Go even closer here. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty happy with the way that that ride cymbal sounds. So let's render that. I like all these triplets that are happening in this song. And hide the ride. Hide that ride, yo. Hide that ride. Man, there's even still a couple hard transients in there. That's all right, though. That's all right. All right, overheads. This is the first stereo track that I'm doing. So let's see, I've already got this bumped up to where I want it. Almost +8. Wow, this was recorded. Look at how low that was before. And I bump up the clip volume. To almost 8 dB. So this, it sounds like I can get some good, some good sizzly cymbals and some good snare drum out of this. Okay. So I can use still the CLA 76, but I'm going to use the stereo version this time. How do I know it's stereo? Because it says right up there. And I just want to capture transients. Maybe a little bit slower release time for this one. And I want to see... Yeah, most of these bigger transients hitting about minus 6, right in there. This just makes it sound more lively already. Am I clipping anywhere? I don't think so. Great. Cut it, print it. No, not mono track. Render tracks to stereo stem tracks. There we go. Because overheads are recorded as a stereo track. Oh, and I got a little bit of clipping there, huh? Just plus 1.1. Dang it. Okay. Well, I can pull down my... Hold on, I'm going to bump you up by like half a dB. There we go. Cool. Ooh, plus 0.3 peak. All right, one more try here. Pull you down by... I'll bring you down to minus 20, just to be safe. There we go. All right, cool. Hide those overheads. Yeah, these are looking pretty good now. Pretty good. All right, so the room mic. Here's the thing about the room mic is I really don't want to do too much to harm the dynamic range of this mic because its whole point is to give you a room sound, which to sound nice and natural needs to be pretty uncompressed. And this is also where I'm going to get a lot of good kick sound. So I want to give it a little bit of compression to give it some flair. And some sizzle. And to tame some transients. I'm going to back this off just a little bit. think it's safe to give it another 3 dB or so of output gain. Cool. Let's print that. Again here, just trying to maximize my usage of the digital space for this audio. Not trying to do any actual mixing as of yet. Oh yeah, that's looking real nice and smooth, and I can bump that up even more here in the new clip gain. Okay, so now we come to the worst part of this drum set. The worst mic. Literally the worst. The bratwurst. And the typical thing with this mic is to put it right in the center of the drum set, equidistant from all the heads. Usually facing up, but it sounds like they might have put this one facing down, because it's pretty kick heavy, which will be good because this will give me a nice solid kick tone later on. And I think what I want to do here actually is really try and maximize my digital space with this one. So this one's going to be a little bit more heavily compressed than the others. This is back to mono. I want to tame those transients still. But still keep it nice and punchy. A little bit faster, hit the compressor a little bit more. I think I can give this a little bit of a boost here on the output. Let's try 3 dB. Yeah, now I'm getting those, the tom hits and the snare hits right in line with the kick drum. Okay. I like how that sounds. That's a mono. I'm going to print that. No clipping, no clipping, no clipping! Ah! Ah, oui bon. Oui bon. Cool. And this should look nice and, yeah, nice and straightforward. And I can even bump that up by about half a dB. All right. Okay. Okay, so this next one is the mallet on the cymbals, and this is different than the rest of the drums. So, you know, actually, I should have these two guys switched around. Truly. I'll go back and do this one after. I want to keep a good amount of the dynamic range here, and I think I might not even do any little tiny bit of compression just to tame those like final very last little bits. And this is also a stereo track, so we're going to use the stereo CLA 76. And again, I'm using this one because it gives me more versatility in my attack and release time than, say, like a CLA 2A. Oh yeah, they're losing a lot of dynamic range there, so I'm not going to hit the compressor super hard. Let's see, I don't want it to start kicking in really until we get right around there, so I'm going to hit even less hard. That was pretty good. Let's see how that sounds without it. Ooh, there's a nice little thing happening right in here that I want to keep, that I don't think I'm getting with this compressor on. I'm not. Okay, hit it even less. There we go. Okay. So that's really one of the louder ones, or probably the loudest one. Let's see what this one sounds like. Excellent. Did that even hit the compressor? Just a little bit. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted. Perfect. Okay. And this first one might not even hit the compressor. Let's just take a quick look at that. Oh, just touched it. Oh, so good. Okay. Good. All right, let's render that guy. Okay, boom. Weebo. That was the mallets. Okay. Let's check out how my new track came out. Excellent. I can bump that up just a little bit more. Just a tiny, tiny bit. All right, so now we got to go back to this SPDS, which I'm not sure what that stands for, but it's definitely an electronic drum kit. And here, as far as dynamic range goes, what I care about is the reverb tail. Probably won't have to do too much to this, but I do want to trim, or tame these rather, a bit. What's going on over here? Sub bass and a affected snare. More sub bass. All right, pretty sparse, but that's all right. Let's see what I can get out of this part. Want to use... Oh no, this is mono, not stereo. Derp. Let's see what I can get out of this. I want to leave those reverb tails alone, so I want this still to have a pretty fast release. With the compressor on, I do lose. I'm hitting it pretty hard with that kick. I'm going to take this down. Yeah. There we go. All right, let's bump this up. Take this up to like minus 12. I've still got a nice tail on that reverb. Ooh, that peaked at plus 0.4. Let's go back this off to minus 13. Cool. What does it sound like without? Right on. All right. Let's see what this guy over here sounds like. Yeah, pretty much the same. Okay, let's print that. Yikes. Can't aim with a mouse. And we got a new track that is, yeah, pretty nicely in line now. Cool. All right, I did my mallets. All right, on to the bass. This is something completely different now. An actual melodic instrument, which I have chosen to bump up to about 4.5 dB. Looks like that's about as much as I can get. Okay, so here, strategy is a little bit different because what I want is to tame those transients and bring up those tails just a little bit. So let's bust out our trusty old CLA 76 again. Okay, I like the way that's bumping as of right now. Let's get it over into the loud spots. That sounded pretty compressed though. Back that off just a little bit. Give myself some makeup gain. I think I want a bit of a harder knee on this one, so I'm going to put the ratio up to 8. Yeah, I'm starting to hear a lot of the nuance in this bass part here. It still kicks pretty good. Yeah, kicks better with that. All right. Print that. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, technically that clipped, but it clipped at 0. So is that really a clip? I'm going to go with no. No, it is not, Otherberry. Righteous. All right. That's looking a lot more like what I want. Cool. Guitars now. Let's see what's going on here with this guitar. Some kind of affected stuff here. does this play with the rest of the guitar? Okay, so that's pretty loud. All right, so here's what I'm seeing. This part wants to be quieter. This part definitely wants to be louder. And then this other guitar down here wants to be right where it's at. So I do want to tame that just a little bit. Just a little tiny bit. And I'm going to use a different compressor here. I'm going to use the CLA 3A because I don't need all of those options for this. Let's see what this does here. It's peaking a little bit, okay. Oh yeah, I like that. So what I like about that is that it brings out the warbliness of the effect on this guitar. But it is a little bit too hot. I just want to make sure that that's not gonna peak. Okay, that was the loudest bit. And I want it to just kiss the compressor just a little bit, which it's not doing right now. So here I move up the peak reduction setting. Still not touching my compressor. Actually, because I'm not hitting it at all. Oh, because it's not on. Duh! I forgot I turned it off. It's a little too much. I want to get about -2 dB of reduction here. Ooh. Clipped again. Oh yeah. That's what I want. And if I've done this right, I shouldn't even be seeing the compressor activate at all for this bit. Maybe just a little teeny bit of a waver. Cool. All right, print that. Oh! It might be time for a quick break here. I've been streaming for almost 2 hours. I'm going to finish these guitars, I think. Take a quick break, and then I'll be back. A 5-minute break. Nothing too long. All right, this other guitar here. Is like meant to melt your face off. Melt that face off. Boom, boom. Cool. All right, so I'm going to use the same as soon as I hide that old track. Guitar A, yep. I'm going to use the same compressor on this guy as the other guitars. So that's the CLA3A. What am I even doing? Here we go. Come back here and see what's going on. Ooh, that's hot. I like that little noise there at the end of that phrase. And I think this compressor like brings it out a little more. Yeah. Don't want to reduce the peaks that much though. Yeah. Righteous. Cool. Let's print that. I can't help but bite on my mustache hairs when they get in my mouth. Oh, peeking it. 1.4. Unacceptable. All right, let's try that one more time. About right there. I still like the way that sounds. Okay. That's looking a little better. We're on the left side of 0 instead of the right side this time. Heck yeah. Okay. Hide this other track. Okay, so cool. I'm gonna take a quick break, 5-10 minutes or so, and I'll be back to finish up with the keys and the vocals, and then the actual mixing part of the mixing process starts. So stay tuned for that. we're back. Alrighty. Let's do some keys, huh? Some keyboards. Okay, here. So we've got keys main and keys add. Let's see what's going on with these keys main. It's piano. This, I believe, is also what's happening at the beginning of the song. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Let's see, I've bumped that up about 6 dB. I want to be really careful with the dynamic range on this because this part is, at the beginning is just beautiful and flowing, and then we get into some comped chords. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I could stand to smooth out some of these dynamics a little bit. So this is a stereo track. I want to try the CLA 3A on this piano. But not hammer it nearly that hard. About a 3 dB reduction. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. Ooh, that was a lot, actually. This compressor's definitely got a sweet spot. Cool, I like that. Not too much with that, because that piano part is already pretty great. Ooh. Peaked on the left side by half a dB. Alright, that's okay. I think I can stand to bring this item volume down by about that much, half a dB. Cool. Let's make sure I'm still getting what I want out of this compressor. Yeah. Okay, let's try that one more time. Still clipping at 0.2 on the left side. Bumskis. Okay, well, that means I gotta take the gain down here by just a tiny little bit. Dewy little bit. Yeah. Okay, let's give that a shot. All right, that did it. Cool. use main, hide that, don't need it anymore. Boom. I'm liking the way that waveform's jiving. Okay, so now we got some added keys in here. Let's see what that's all about. Okay. 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 I feel like I'm gonna want that to be pretty tight in dynamic range. So I'm also gonna use the CLA3A on this one. And that definitely peaked. Bring down the gain a little bit. Bring up the peak reduction just a little bit. Ooh, too much. Yeah. So as long as that's not peaking over here, right on. I can actually give that a little itty bitty bit of a boost here. A little bit more. Right on. Okay, one more track left to do this digital space maximization process on, and then I can start mixing it all together. The fun stuff. Okay. Yeah, that's looking pretty nice. Still got a little bit of dynamic range there. All right, vocals. All right, I gotta be... This is where the dynamic range is gonna make or break the song, right? Vocals. You want a lot of... You still want to have a human performance in these vocals, but you don't want to lose any syllables. So ooh. Let's see what's going on there. That doesn't need to be as loud as it is, so I think I can hit let's see, for this one I'm gonna use CLA2A.
Saw the sheets, the seeds of tomorrow. How you can deny it? You preach it in your heart. You preach it in your heart. Compassion
needs to
and
come
love
down
need to
about
appear.
3
The eternal
dB.
temptation of anger and fear. You preach it in your heart.
I want
compassion and love need to appear.
that to be a little smoother. Yeah.
Compassion and love need to appear. The eternal temptation of it, you preach it in your heart. Reap what you sow, the seeds. The seeds of your sorrow.
And then when we're quiet, we're barely hitting it. Good.
You can deny it.
Yes. Okay. Cool. Let's hide that. Oof, after that break, I realized I'm losing steam a little bit, so I might have to grab a snack. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. I can give that so much more room now. Boom. Beautiful. All right. Hey, so I think we're ready to start doing some mixing. Which means I got to take these headphones off and use my room. So I need to close the door. Hold up. And here we are in dark mode. So you're going to get a little bit of bleed from these monitors into the microphone. I'm going to try and prevent that as much as humanly possible. That's the wrong way to put that, I think. Yep, other way. By pointing the microphone more back this way, getting some off-axis rejection going on. That should help things out. Coolio.
Could you tell me what does it?
All right. So what I want to do first is drums. Ooh, I like the way that's kicking. And actually, what you guys should be seeing right now is this. This is where the magic's gonna happen. And I need to see this, so this is coming down here. And you guys are probably hearing what's coming out of my DAW plus the feedback into the microphone. So sorry about that. There's really nothing I can do to prevent that. I need to hear what's coming out of my monitors, which I've just realized might need a little adjustment. No, they good. They good. But my microphone certainly does because I'm not in the sweet spot if I sit that close. Boom. Okay. Alright, this can come back down to 0 because that's peaking a little bit. I actually really like the way both of these kicks sound together. So before, anybody that's watching, I don't know if you caught it, but I was noticing that these two kick drum tracks don't appear to be a kick in and kick out configuration. And it looks like they've done one dynamic microphone and one condenser microphone. This is the dynamic, this is the condenser, on the same surface. So I wasn't really sure if I wanted to use both of them, but I actually like what I'm getting here with both of them. It's got a lot of nice low end. Yeah. So, all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two kick tracks into a folder called kick. And this kick should be in the drums, and these should be in the kick. I don't think they went where I wanted them to. Why is that? I'm going to move some things around here off screen. Sorry, guys. There we go. Yeah, I don't think these guys made it into the kick. Come on now. There we go. There we go. Okay. Track is folder. Cool. Okay, so how did I do that? I have to be very... Yes, okay, I think that did it. If I cut, yes, okay, there we go. That cuts everything. All right, so I've got a folder within a folder. It's my kick. You can see that here. And that is clipping, so I need to pull that down. Still clipping just a little bit. Pull that down to about -6. Yeah, right on. Okay. Okay, so the reason I did this is that I want to put an EQ on here, but on both drums. And I'm going to use this SSL EQ because I really like the way this thing sounds. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to oh, you know what? This isn't going to work for what I want to do. Because in fact, what I want to do is low pass. Oh, here we go. This is what I want to use. I want to use my Fab Filter, Pro Q3. That's what I want. Okay. So I'm going to actually want this to be a high cut. Yes, there we go. A little bit steeper. I've lost something here. Let's see. Okay, that sounds like it's got everything I wanted in there. punchiness. I don't want to lose that punchiness, but I do want to have a sharper drop on the highs. Yes. Okay, so let's see. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let's see where I might have some buildup on here that I want to get rid of. A lot of fine listening right now. I know this probably isn't the most exciting thing to watch, just me staring, but I'm listening very carefully. So what I'm noticing here too is that I've got a lot of build up in, yeah, right around here, and so I want to bump up my low lows. My low lows just a little bit here. Yeah. Yeah, I like where that's going. I don't want to do too much there because I think I'm going to add in those frequencies in the bass. Okay, I like how that sounds. How are we doing on clipping? Are we still? Oh, we're pretty close. I'm going to bring this down another couple dB here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do that I've got my EQ is I'm going to add some compression. Ooh, that's a lot. It sounds terrible. What I want to do here is kind of the opposite of what I did at the previous stage. And I want to have a relatively slow attack here to let the kick drum through and a faster release. That still sounds terrible. I got to hit the compressor much less hard. I don't think that this is giving me more of what I want, actually. So in that case, I'm just gonna ditch it. I don't like what that compressor's doing. This is something that confused me for a long time because I felt like I really had to use um like I had to use compressors on pretty much every track in the mixing process, which is not true necessarily. If it doesn't sound good, don't use it. And I like the way this kick drum is sounding without that compressor on it, with just the EQ. So let's dig into the snare a little bit, huh? I'm gonna give the snares their own folder. Oh, come on now. There we go. Now if I solo this guy, we should get both of those. Great. Okay, so I'm hearing definitely some ringing. Oop. And that had to have been in the snare top. Oh. Did something wrong here with the folders. There we go. Okay, now it's coming from both top and bottom. Something I definitely want to do here is grab an EQ again. See if I can find that, where that ring is happening. Not there. Possible. Let's. I think that might be it. Nope, that's definitely not it. Wow, I can't find this thing for the life of me. Alright, time to shut it down for a minute. My ears aren't working. Alright. That's it. Pretty close. There it is. I don't think I need a minus 30 cut, but... it's pretty severe ringing, and there's a little bit of snare tone, so I want to keep some of that in there, but... put a low cut on here. Oh, up to about 80 hertz, I think. I'm gonna give it some body down here. I want to try and give it some pop up here. And how are we doing on? We're peaking pretty bad, it looks like. Okay. Let's see if I can get a little bit more snap on this snare, huh? Oof. Bring the whole drum folder down for sure. Ugh, okay. It's a lot of listening. I'm trying to keep you guys up to date on my thought process here, but yeah, basically right now I'm just listening. I'm listening for what I want between the kick and the snare, making sure that what I'm doing to the kick and the snare are not taking away from the overall drum sound that I want, which is like a smooth drum sound with smooth overall with snappy, kick and snare. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start panning to get some stereo presence. Kick and snare is usually left in the center, and I tend to like that. And I need to figure out what side the hi-hat and rides want to be on. And to do that, I'm going to listen to the overhead track. And what I'm getting is the hi-hat a little bit over on the left side. So that's what I'm going to do is pan the hi-hat left and the ride right. That's almost like too much of a stereo image. So I'm going to back this off. Just a little bit. I'm going to back this off just a little bit. Yeah, that feels a little better. Okay. And so if the hi-hat is on the left, ride's on the right, that means we're looking at a view from the drummer's seated position. So the rack tom probably is going to go also a little bit on the left and the floor tom a little bit on the right. Let's test that theory by checking out what the overheads sound like while the toms are playing. I believe I heard the... Yeah. Floor tom is just a little bit over to the right side, so that's where it's going to go. Not quite as much, though. Don't want to use these guys to create too much of a stereo image. Cool. Okay, got that. Whew. Overheads. I want to tame my overheads a little bit. EQ wise. So let's get an EQ on my overheads here. And really, I can cut out most of the stuff going on here. Yeah, let's see how that sounds in the mix overall. Yeah, that's cleaned things up a lot. It's without, with, without, with. That hi-hat's pretty loud. tom is also pretty loud. There we go. I think I like where that floor tom's at. Could even be a little bit higher, honestly. Also, is that rack tom peaking? No, it's not. That floor tom is a little bit quiet. Let's... Yeah. Okay, so I cut out the worst mic earlier. And now I think I'm ready to bring it back in. And I think what I want is to compress the crap out of it. Oh, yeah, I've got a YouTube viewer. Hello, Yellow Wolf. How's it going on? This is indeed live. Made a song today. Hey, congrats. Yeah, I can do a reaction, sure. Let me throw you my email real quick. Or if you want to write it down. It's probably easier to see it on the screen, though. Let me throw that up on the screen. I've got it here somewhere. There we go. It's actually my Twitch username. Ooh, not that. It's that guy at hotmail.com. Stompboxjunkie7 at Hotmail. And yeah, I'll take a listen. See what we got. Always feels good to make a song. So congrats on that. Hopefully I can finish this one today. Man, this is my first attempt at this one, and it's taken me a while to work through it. So I could use a change of pace here. All right. Before I switch gears there, I want to finish off this with this worst mic. It's the worst, man. And what I want to do here, I actually like the sound I was getting from it, so what I think I want to do is give this one a lot of compression. Just to kind of fatten up the overall drum sound. So let's see, that's still peaking a little bit. Yeah. And I can fix that by bringing down the fader, obviously. And I think... Ooh. Now that I brought the fader down, I want to gain this up in here a little bit. Yeah, and what I'm noticing now too is the hi-hat definitely needs some EQ. Should be on its way. All right, cool. Thanks, Yellow Wolf. I'm going to do a little bit more here on the hi-hat, and just before I forget that what I'm hearing is what I'm hearing, and then I'll pull your song up and give it a listen. Okay, so hi-hat. Mostly what I want to do is cut out a lot of this low-end information. Yes. Oh, that's cleaning it up so good. Back it off a little bit, I think. Yeah. I like the way that's sounding now. And actually now the hi-hat is just a little quiet. Liking how that's sounding. Yeah, yeah. Sweet. All right. That's coming together. Save that real quick. Let's check out the old email. All right. Hey, got it, man. Oh, you think you're awful in mixing? Well, don't be too hard on yourself. We all got to start somewhere. Okay, so let's see. You sent me an MP3. I'm going to pull this up. I think this is just going to play through my desktop audio. All right, so anybody else watching, this is a submission through YouTube by user Yellow Wolf, who was gracious enough to jump on my stream today. And perfect timing, because I really needed a quick change of pace from what I've been doing. I've been mixing this song for almost 3 hours now, and I took one 10-minute break, and I should probably be breaking a little bit more often than that. So thanks, Yellow Wolf, for the submission. The song is titled Pose. I'm going to do just a quick mix critique here in my room, and let's see what we got. Okay, so just from a mixing standpoint, so far what I'm hearing is a lot of compression on some of these elements coming in right around here. That low stringed instrument seems overly compressed to me, and I'm hearing the levels kind of bounce around in the quieter parts of this song in a way that's not very musical. And there's a lot of reverb, obviously, but that could be a creative decision. I would say that I think, now that I'm getting that kick drum in here, that what I'm hearing in the reverb earlier on here doesn't match the overall reverb of the track. I really like the reverb that you've added here on the kick drum. It gives it a nice sense of space. Yeah, but the reverb that I'm hearing here earlier And especially with those low elements. That low element there, that low strings, I think is what that is really muddy. And I want more definition out of that. But you got a good balance on the drums. I like the stereo spread on the clap. That reverb on this last part here, especially in the high frequencies, is a little much. I think, for me personally, that might just be a taste thing, but it feels like it's a little much since there's not a lot going on in that part. I want to hear more of the instrument itself. So I would consider maybe filtering out some of those high frequencies on just the reverb for that instrument. And that might help clean that part a bit up too. But yeah, this is cool, man. I like the vibe you got going on. It's nice and dancey. And I really like the bass that comes in up right around here. That. I just want more of that bass in the beginning. More definition out of it, so it's not as muddy. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, definition is definitely the key word. Yeah, and I would also watch it on your compression a little bit too, because overall I was hearing quite a bit of compression on just about everything, which is, I know that's compression is a lot more prominent in that style of music than it is on, say, acoustically recorded music. But I still want to hear those, I want to hear the transients, and I want to hear the reverb tails coming off of those transient nice and clear. So, yeah, hey, thanks, Yellow Wolf, for the submission. It was really cool having you on and chatting with you. It's always good to meet a fellow mixer. Keep up the good work. Keep practicing, Just gotta sit down and do it. I'm gonna be back here on streaming, mixing this song again and again, just to practice. Trying to get faster. That's what I'm doing right now. Is trying to get faster at mixing. So, hey, tune back in if you want to take a look, or you just want to hang out, or if you got another song you want me to take a look at. Right on. Let's get back into Spitting Ibex, which, shoot, I don't think I said the name of that at the beginning of this stream. This is Spitting Ibex, but I did say it was a contest for LeWitt microphones, so I got that going for me, I guess. Okay, so I got this worst mic going on. Oh, cheers, Yellow Wolf. Thanks for the subscribe. Appreciate it. What else? And I just did the hi-hat. That was sounding a lot better. I do want to take that worst down just a little bit, because that's making me feel like my drum set is overly compressed. Okay, so I think I'm just about getting ready to get on my drum bus. Ooh, I love the attack on the kick there. I'm rethinking the compressor on this snare. Sorry, that came on off screen. I think it's all right. It adds a little bit of clarity to the snare. Okay, so now we got the ride cymbal that I want to do something with. And I'm pretty sure that something is EQ out the low frequencies. Clean those up. Low cut. Steepen that up a little bit. Yes. Yes. Yes, it is coming together, those drums. Just wanted to make sure I gave that a high cut, and I gave that a low and a high cut. Giving my cymbals, low cut. Drum room, I'm leaving the same. Not the same, I'm not putting any reverb on it. Let's see, hi-hat, floor tom, rack tom. Oh yeah, floor and rack toms. I want to get some of the junk frequencies out of these toms real quick. Let's start with the rack tom. Definitely a high cut on this guy. Make sure I'm not missing any nice resonances up here by. I don't think so. I'm also going to put a low cut on here, pretty steep. So I want to keep that root note nice and prominent, but get rid of all of that other nasty bass information. Yeah, okay. That's cleaned up a little bit. And floor tom. Let's throw an EQ on this guy. Yeah, lots of stuff going on here. This is going to be a high cut. I feel like I'm not really missing out on that. I am a little bit there. I like the sound up here. Yeah, that's where a lot of the attack comes from, and I want that attack. But again, I don't want any of that nasty low-end stuff. All right, let's see how that sits. Pretty good, pretty good. However, I feel like I could be getting a little bit more tone out of this guy. So yeah. That's what I want right there. Just a little bit more presence. Okay. Did my hi-hat, did my ride, did my overheads. I'm not gonna do anything really to the drum room mic. I like I like the way their room sounds. Just cut that out and see what we get. It's a tighter sound. It's definitely not as full. I think I'm just going to bring that down a little bit. Okay. Now let's get these mallets and this SBS in. SPDS. SBS, I don't know what that is. Okay, so the important thing here for me is going to be that this SPDS and the acoustic kick are kicking about the same. They are not. Still feel like I can get some more punch out of this kick. So let's try. I'm going to try the H comp here, and I've set it to a preset called Drum Punch. Yeah, that SPDS is just a little bit too loud. And also are the mallets. I like the way that kick is kicking now, though. And I'm going back again on the compressor on the snare. I want that to be snappy. That I like better. Bring this guy up a little bit. Now the kick is a little bit too loud. Hi-hat's a little loud. Okay, I like the balance with the electronic drums now. Let's go back here and see how we're doing up front. Hey, love. Hi. You want to be on TV? No. Okay. Yeah, okay. That's sounding a lot more even now. Yeah, man, I just went to a preset in that H comp, which sometimes that's what you do. You know, those presets are there for a reason. I like the way that it's treating that kick drum. And the The snare could still use a little bit more pop, though. Let's see what we can get out of this. So drum punch isn't quite doing it. Let's try tight kit for the snare, see what that gets us. No, I don't like what that gave us. There we go. There we go. Ooh, no. There we don't go. Sounding a little better. Yeah, I think I was losing too much high frequency information on that snare there. Yeah, that sounded a lot snappier and a lot more open. And I want to bring this ratio down a little bit, I think. Okay. All right. I like where that's going. Woo! The rest of that stuff's still pretty loud. Okay, let's check out these other bits. With the electronic drums. I think that mallets can come up a little bit. Yeah. That gives me the emotion that I want. That flows pretty nicely, I think. All right. I'm going to leave that where it is today. And yeah, I guess. Ooh, what else? Do I need to do anything else there? Nope, 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 nope. Cool. So I'm going to render my drums out. Right on. So now I've got a stereo drum track. And I can remove that guy and then all of these. Now I'm just working with one drum track instead of, you know, a ton. However many there are. I think there's like 10. Cool. Got some real estate back. Uh-huh. All right, let's see about that bass. Quite loud. I think now I can give my drums a little bit more juice here. All right. So here is where I think I want to use this. I want to use my SSL EQ. And immediately what I'm hearing is I want to do a high cut on this bass. I want to give it a little bit of a boost in the low lows. Just a little bit. So what I did with the EQ here was I was kind of feeling like the drums and the bass weren't really meshing well together. So I took the high frequencies out, I bumped up the lows a little bit, and I took out a little bit at 1.3 kilohertz, just to darken the bass up and make it mesh a little bit better with the drums. I think actually I could stand to come down closer to About 1,000. Yes. I'm liking where that's sitting. Cool. Let's get this guitar going. I like where that bass guitar is sitting. Whew. That needs to come down. That guitar is so loud. And I think immediately what I want to do is make sure clean up the low end a little bit. Bump it up to about 100 hertz. I'm going to bring up the highs. There's a trick that I know of when using this particular EQ in the 10 kilohertz range. Just giving that a little bit of a bump on this EQ can really add some sparkle, and I like what that's doing right now. Ooh, that was nice. So I want to do something with these guitars to pan them. I don't think I can do that yet because I need to hear the keys in there. So let's just take a look at this other guitar really quick. I want to do something similar to this guy. It's hard to see that from that far away. My top monitor up there is 4K, so all my plugins get a lot smaller when I move them up there. Sorry, guys. I'm just cutting out some of the low end. Okay. I'm gonna do that same little trick here with this at 10K. Just give it a nice little sparkle on the attack. And I think there's some stuff right around 800 that I want to cut out. Yes.
instantly started to mesh better for me here in the room when I did that. Okay, good. Good to know. There's a nice transition between the two guitars there. Okay, I like how that's sounding. Let's bring in the keys. Pretty loud. Uh-huh. I want to be careful with these keys because at the beginning they are the bread and butter. Oh, so pretty. Oof. Love it. Okay, there's some things I'm going to do to this keyboard. I want to do the 10K trick on this keyboard. I want to give it a bit of a low cut. So I don't think they're playing anything too low here. I want to darken it up just a tiny bit. Yeah, cut, what is it, about 4.25 kilohertz. Yes, that sounds nice. I do like that. All right, let's see how these two keys mesh. That could stand to come up just a little bit. Yes. Okay, so before I do anything with the vocals, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a bus compressor on my drum bus. And I think you're going to hear instantly that these drums are going to come together in a very important way. Oh, let's see. Do we have any... sorry, I got to bring this down to my other screen because the plugins just get too damn small up there. And I want... I think I want this kit. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna turn this off really quick, and we're gonna hear the drums as I had them. Oh, that's the electronics. I really want this for here. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna turn this guy on, and the drums are gonna start to blend. Ooh. Oh yes, that's very nice. They're bumping a little bit hard on that compressor. So I'm going to increase my threshold just a little bit. Ooh, but that's making them so smooth. Yes, I love that SSL compressor. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, now let's get these vocals in here and see what's going on. Start at the beginning. Okay, very breathy, a little loud.
Could you tell me what does it need to be free? Oh, I can see people are blinded by their anxiety.
Yeah, I want something to smooth these out.
And eyes of hate, older slaves of major insecurities.
And I think I want it to be this SSL compressor again.
What you saw, the seeds of your sorrow. You give me my it, you preach it in your heart.
Actually, no. No. I want this.
Compassionate love need to appear. The eternal temptation of anger and fear.
I like these like rapped parts that she's doing.
Could you tell me what does it mean
No, too much.
to live a life in unity? Oh, I can see people are the
All right, now I need some EQ because it's not sitting quite well. I do want to do that 10K trick on her voice just to see what we get. Ooh. Still just a little bit loud. There we go. And I think just a bit too much compression at times. Hope you guys can still hear me. Again, I have to listen in the room to properly mix, and I know that that's coming into the microphone, so I'll turn that down a little bit so hopefully you guys can hear me a little better. Yeah, so I like the sparkle that gives. I'm gonna do a high pass on her voice to about 100, maybe 120. Yes, I like what that's doing. And I want to boost. Yeah, right around it. Was that 3.8? 3.6. She's got something really nice happening at her voice at 3.6. Okay.
Could you tell me what does it need to be free?
I love how intimate this sounds. I think my keys are just a little quiet. Could be actually that the vocals are just too loud.
The seeds of your sorrow. You can't deny it. You breathe it in your heart.
Yeah, the vocals are just too loud overall.
Intoxication caused by the venom you're spitting. It ain't true just because it's written. You can't deny it. You breathe it in your heart. Compassion and love need to.
Okay, so now that I've got this. Now that I've got everything kind of playing out, I want to mess with the panning on these guitars. We'll put this guy off to the right just a little bit. And this guy off to the left. Yes, I like the way that that's going. Now it's just a little bit too loud. Let's see how the other one sounds. It's time to go a little bit louder. Could you tell me? Oh, the slaves of major insecurity. You can't deny it. Yeah, the dynamics of this performance are pretty good. There's a little bit of fader writing that I think I want to do on the vocals. But let's see. I think before that, I want to get a compressor on my master bus. And master bus compressor is almost always SSL comp. I love the way this thing sounds on a master bus. Pull the ratio down. Let's see how we're hitting.
Intoxication caused by the venom you're spitting. It ain't true just because it's written.
Oh, so nice. Without? With.
Compassion and love need to appear.
Oh, it's just so smooth.
Anger and fear. Could you tell me what does it mean to live a life in unity? I can see people are devalued by their
Okay, and then one more thing on my master bus is my limiter. I use the stealth limiter from T-Rax and just set to a minus 0.1 dB ceiling. That guitar's a little loud now, I think.
Compassion and love need to appear. Eternal temptation of anger and fear.
Piano outro. All right. Okay. I'm gonna check this mix in the head.
Older slaves
See how we
of
did.
major insecurities. You will reap what you sow. Oh, the seeds of your sorrow.
So far, I like that.
You can deny it, you preach it and you hide it. Intoxication caused by the venom you're spitting. It ain't true just because it's written. You can deny it, you preach it and you hide it. Compassion and love need to appear. The tone temptation of anger and fear.
Okay, so I'm definitely missing some frequencies. Let's get a meter on here. Analyzer. I want my span.
I can see people are devalued by their society. I'll reach out my hand to make you understand. We gotta stay together to live a life in harmony. We reap
seeing a big dip in my mids here. So somewhere I missed out on the mid-range, and actually might be here in the bass. Fill in a little bit with the bass there. These drums back down.
Intoxication caused by the venom you're spitting. It ain't true just because it's written. You can't deny it. You preach it in your heart.
Maybe also on the piano.
Temptation of anger and fear. Could you tell me what does it mean to live a life in unity? Oh, I can see people are devalued by their society. I'll reach out my hand to make you understand. We gotta stay together
Still sounding kind of
to
flat.
live a life in harmony. We reap what we sow. The seed
Crappy speakers too. I'm gonna try it on. Intoxication caused by the venom you're spitting. It ain't true just because it's written. Compassion and love need to appear. The eternal temptation of anger and fear. Yeah, you know, it doesn't sound bad, but it also doesn't sound very exciting. So that was, man, almost 4 hours of mixing. I feel like that's a good bit of doing today. I'm gonna revisit this song with fresh ears. Maybe Monday. I've got a pretty busy weekend coming up. Pretty busy. You're gonna see some family, so that's always nice. Hang out with the fam hang. Man, I'm a little disappointed with the way this mix came out. But you know, that's okay. I'm gonna do it again. This is for practice. This was a lot of really good practice, and now I've been listening to this song for 4 hours now and making changes, and I can come back to it with fresh ears on Monday, and I'm gonna pick this thing apart. So here you go. Actually, Monday I might be working my day job. Actually, so I better not make promises. Let's see. Monday, yep, I am working my day job Monday, so yikes. Let's see, I gotta get my schedule together here. Maybe Tuesday. Might be able to come back to this Tuesday. Yeah. Maybe Tuesday. All right. So, that's all for today. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. Rosalby, it's always really great having you on. Yellow Wolf, special thanks to you for jumping on and sending me your mix to critique. That was super awesome. Anybody else that tuned in on Facebook, especially, I can't see your comments until I go back and look at them later. So I'm sorry if you've been trying to talk to me this whole time and I haven't been responding. It's because I can't see what you're saying until later. So, but thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you guys on Tuesday, I hope. And